morning, everybody. Or afternoon, whenever I set this to premiere. Depends on how long it takes to upload. So we are picking our game back up. Sorry. I believe we are on the one with the obnoxious music, the Observatory. In our second act. Yeah. We basically just watch What's-Her-Face get murked again by the shadows, like right in front of us too, so we didn't change that future outcome at all for... Her name was Emma.
Mount Redtooth. Its top littered with man-made eyes that stare into the endless depths of space. Tonight, the champion of light will depend on them to pick out a message from the ether.
Gotta try to get another piece of that code. Manuscript counts at. I was 16 here. That would be 19. That would be 20 something. Okay.
As history repeats itself, the man remembers the patterns. He knows that he needs the missing part for the telescope.
Yeah, missing pieces.
Better find Dr. Meadows' car.
Angry shadows. There he is. Woo! That's deadly. Okay. Oh, they're already giving me the launcher bros. What's this sign? Oh. Okay.
The spiders aren't really the work of the enemy. They're a side effect, a part of the Dark Place's less significant fauna that has managed to slip through the opening I made when I arrived. Less an animal than an idea that has assumed the form of an animal. Makes them no less dangerous, but at least they're a little easier to deal with. The darkness doesn't protect them like the Taken, and thus they can be destroyed by either light or bullets right away.
So yeah, that's how it was.
The atmosphere in the projection booth at the
those were
drive-in was
given.
charged, almost unreal. Despite that, the air felt cool and refreshing this late at night. It'd been a hot day. The summer was nearing its end, but it wasn't over yet. When Dr. Rachel Meadows got the call from Michael, telling her to hurry to the observatory, she didn't waste any time. It had been a nice party. She'd had a good time, but her social life would always play second fiddle to the mysteries of space.
Mysteries of space, aliens
Michael never
and
showed
stuff
up, of
like
course.
that, you know? Like,
He pulled
of
over at
course
the
you wanna
wrong
see
rest
that
stop.
stuff.
She never even thought about him at the time. The phenomenon in the sky above her was too fascinating.
Die. Wrong tune. I don't know where I belong. The manuscript over here. Yep. Bitter.
As a storyteller, my first real love was crime. And it was in that genre that I finished my first novel, starring the perpetually miserable Alex Casey, whose entire life was a wound that never healed. The books sold as fast as they hit the shelves. I
Big
wrote
miserable
5 more
Pro-Tech,
Alex
everybody
Casey
loves
books,
it.
and they all were bestsellers. I became rich. I became famous. Success brought
probably read
pressure,
that.
and I didn't handle it very well.
Yeah, success is a very... What is it they say? Like, success is its own curse? Oh, I was not Controlled burst, guys. Controlled burst. Ooh, manuscript. What story?
There are places where our world is worn thin, and another reality brushes against ours. One such site is Cauldron Lake near Bright Falls, Washington. But there are others. That other reality is dark, vast, and malleable, always in flux. In its depths dwell vast forces and alien energies. They're dangerous. But in one of these places, if you know how, you can channel the power of that place and use it to shape reality.
Like, art has enabled these places to become, like, reality shaping. I don't think I am emotionally attached to my crossbow.
The darkness rose from the depths of Cauldron Lake and took Alice. It needed words. It needed me to write its way into our world. She was leverage, a hostage. I complied, but with a twist. I put in a loophole that gave me a chance to fight back. I was hunted by shadowy enemies, but I faced the darkness. I fought it with light. I drove it back. I saved Alice, but it came with a cost. I was trapped in the dark place below Cauldron Lake.
Yep, that's what plates. It's the motel. I wouldn't be surprised if this is just one continuous map. There's still a little buzz noise to the soundtrack. I think it. Spiders up here again. They're very flashbangs, things like oh, I'm at the wrong place. And that was the location. Where I needed to be. A smart bean. A smart cookie. The smartest of cookie. Kinda tempted to make snooker do. They're really good. Not in the... Oh, not these fucks. I dodged that wrong. Old bursts. Unless you're going up against spiders, then just sweep that ground with that firearm. Yo. I promise I say that ironically. I could have sworn like in the first run I could do this forever. That gun makes that part of my life way terrible. Okay. I want the white rifle. My rifle! This is my rifle. This is my husband bow. Now we read this manuscript page.
Stories come naturally to us. We can't help it. There are many different worlds, many competing realities within our heads, fueled by books, television, even barely remembered childhood tales. There's an endless supply of fictional concepts more familiar to us than anything or anyone real. We have a far greater connection to the fictional characters we know and love than the random people we pass on the street. Our destinies and inspirations are shaped by lies, myths, and fables. The Taken may well be the tool the darkness favors over any other. At some point, they used to be human, but whatever humanity they once had is long gone. Now they're just shells covered and filled by darkness. The Taken Mr. throws at me are more grotesque and varied than the ones I first encountered in Bright Falls. But I know how to deal with them. I'd be lying if I said they don't fright me. But I've survived worse. I can't let them stop me.
I can't. Raiden's still very... Run the whole observatory real quick, make sure. They'll be missing. Alan Wake, you're old, but I believe in you. From the last run, I was able to run like that. And... Hi. Okay.
It's you! How dare you! No, wait. It isn't you, is it? I suppose you'd better come in. I'll unlock the door.
Thanks.
I need to use the bathroom. Can you please unlock it?
I know what you're thinking. Evil twin, supernatural powers. But most of the time, I just like to keep things basic. I want you to understand that.
Is Mr. Scratch calling himself a basic bitch?
Like
yeah,
this.
He's totally the basics.
Need to get your hands dirty?
Bitch of murderers.
No batteries, no moving parts, just physics. That's technology you can depend on. It's a classic. Speaking of classics, you need to be careful with this one, though. If the victim suddenly twists, you might end up cutting yourself. It's not really a workhorse, but I'm a sucker for this style.
So, old classic shave.
Now this is more like it. You've got slip-resistant grip. Believe me, you really want that traction once you're wrist deep in somebody. The blade's stiff enough so it won't open by accident in your pocket, but it's still really easy to open with just one hand. Now that's a big thing for me. I know what you're thinking.
One-handed.
It's too big, too heavy. But sometimes you just need the extra oomph. If you're talking intimidation, this is gonna do the job.
Oh, sorry guys.
Also great for dismemberings and whatnot. You know, the messy jobs. I can't tell you how many things I've MacGyvered with this stuff. Okay, now guns. Not a big fan. I mean, how are you supposed to really connect with somebody with a bullet?
That is why new weapons are more
I want you to
intimate
understand that.
and classified as like a weapon
I
of
take
passion.
pride in what I do. We can't both be worthless hacks, can we?
I mean, if you hack someone up. Crack myself up. I'm hilarious. Best content. 10 out. No. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We can't make bold claims about our ability.
You'll have to forgive me, but this feels very strange. It seems like this has all happened before.
I have the replacement part for your telescope, Doctor.
All right. Let's get it installed.
And insert.
I think we can give this a go, although I have this strange feeling that something will go
Don't start
wrong.
it up yet. There's a problem with the coolant system.
Yes, that's right. I remember. All right, let me think. If they're sabotaging it, they'll be at the primary coolant pipe outside. If you can secure it, we should be ready to pick up the signal. That is why you're here, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I'll take care of it.
Before you go, if you have the time, I'd appreciate if you came up here and explained a few things. All of this is very strange to me.
Okay, Doctor, I'll come talk to you. Like be a smart girl, come on.
Hello.
I don't quite know what's going on, but I seem to remember having had this encounter before.
It's not deja vu, Doctor. This has happened before. We're caught in a time loop.
That's utterly insane. How could that be?
I can't really explain it. I suppose I could call it magic.
I don't believe in magic.
Neither do I, but I can't argue with what I've experienced. Listen, what matters now is the signal. The last time we only caught a part of it. I need the rest of it. Whether you believe me or not, you want to look into this as much as I do, right?
Yes. All right.
So, I like how he's written this, and like every way, or every step, he has like a female support character, which is like very typical of like crime novel writing. I've realized like there's always like the main dude detective and he has like a female support. It's like very rooted in like classic noir and stuff like that.
I realize that you have trouble believing this.
That's an understatement. I can't deny that what you say resonates with me on some level I don't pretend to understand. But for all I know, I'm simply delusional.
But it's not just you. I've experienced the same
like
thing
James
as you.
Bond, too.
Doesn't that prove something, at least?
Maybe. On the other hand, given your appearance, and the fact that you're trying to convince me that I'm not insane, perhaps you're merely a hallucination that accompanies my delusions.
You're not having a psychotic episode, Doctor.
I mean, you could be. I am your psychotic episode.
For what it's worth, I'm a skeptic by nature. I completely understand your reluctance to believe me.
There are people caught so deep in their psychosis that they retroactively manufacture memories and beliefs that conform to the situation at hand.
Sure, but you have to stop second-guessing yourself at some point, if you want to get something done.
I don't want to get anything done. I just want to live in my own crazy world. Listen to my audiobooks, wrap up on my blanket, play my video games. Because of primary pipes. Fizzy drinks, yo. could jump it. Yay, I was gonna be so salty if I had to run all the way back up the stairs to go. Guys, was not a controlled burst.
These beams hate the light, am I correct? You should be able to turn on the lights and secure the area that way.
Can you hear me? I think we're good to go.
All right. I'll start looking for the signal. Please, head back.
Achievement for that one. Oh, I hate these ones the most.
I guess they didn't like that.
How dare you foil our plans?
That mountain's trying to kill me.
That's fine. Cover. Great. Oh no, I want to heal, please. Rude. Oh boy. Got my Doki Doki going. Roki Doki. I have this, and I could have made quicker work of those guys, but Shadow's just throwing shit everywhere, like a bunch of petulant children.
It's working. Please, come up here.
I'm coming up there. Just give me a second. Hopefully I get more of the signal this time. Since you know the thing didn't break. Probably won't though. is Act 2. I think there's like 3 acts, maybe 4. You have to like loop this like multiple times.
You find the signal?
Yes, I don't think it's quite the same thing we had, the last time. Still, we're definitely picking it up.
Are we getting the complete signal now?
I'm afraid not. Take a look at it yourself. I'm printing out a hard copy now. I'd like to ask you a question or two before that, though, if you don't mind.
What's on your mind, Doctor?
Most people would find these events extremely disturbing, provided that they survive these creatures, that is. You seem to be quite adept at dealing with the situation. Why is that?
Yes, I was involved in... It's a complex story.
Because
I was in this small town, and a horrible thing from another
named
dimension
Alan Wake.
kidnapped my wife and manipulated me into writing this horror story that came true. I learned to fight it with light, and I managed to contain it and free my wife. But I was trapped in its world.
Are you serious?
Absolutely. So, I'm used to reality working in strange or even impossible ways. And I fought these things, not exactly like this, but close enough for a good while now. Of course, I have certain advantages.
No?
Was there anything else?
What did you mean when you said you have advantages?
At the risk of sounding like a lunatic, reality is much more fluid than people think. It can be influenced.
I didn't take you for a mystic.
I'm not. I'm a writer. And under certain conditions, I can,
Not a mystic,
for lack
I'm
of
a
a better
writer.
word,
I'm not a
rewrite
murderer, I'm
reality.
a writer.
Change things.
That's absurd.
But it works.
Assuming I believe this, why don't you simply, I don't know, write yourself some superpowers?
It's not quite that simple. You need to follow certain laws of drama, I suppose. You need to think about consistency and symbolism. Often what you write isn't anywhere near as important as what you imply. There are things out there that will take advantage of your mistakes.
You really believe in this?
Don't look at me like that. You've experienced some of this yourself.
I will gladly admit that something exceedingly strange is going on. But this idea that you're somehow altering reality with your writing is ridiculous. You're essentially saying you're controlling my actions. Leaving aside the rational arguments against this, what gives you the right?
Well, it's more like having a destiny. A path you're on. You're not aware of it, but there it is. If somebody changes it, what difference does it make? It's what every writer does. If you write something that affects one of the characters, they don't really know about that.
I'm not a character. Are you saying that it's all right to take advantage of someone if they aren't aware of it?
Look, all I meant was that if you're genuinely making all your own decisions, and those decisions lead to whatever destiny you have, what practical difference does it make?
I suppose that depends on whether our destinies are determined by things like physics and probabilities, or natural reality, which is presumably neutral and impartial, or by some kind of an intelligence. If it's the latter, that intelligence makes choices based on some criteria. If we suffer as a result of those choices, there's a moral and ethical element involved, regardless of whether we're aware of its manipulations. Wouldn't you agree?
You're taking this very well. I thought you'd be hangry.
I suppose I would be if I thought
I
you
mean,
could actually
Nightingale
do
became
this.
like an alcoholic in like a split second, finding out he was a fictional character.
Another printout. Another signal fragment. The message is still not complete, but it's another piece of the weapon he has built against his adversary. Mere words on a piece of paper, but in the right hands, they will hold back the darkness.
Oh look, we've made it. Made it to part 3 of Act 2. Man, I can't wait to see how crazy these villains get, or enemy mobs, or whatever you want to call them. How much they come up with. The Raven dudes are probably the most annoying. The grenade dudes aren't too bad, but I'm also playing in normal. I'm not playing in nightmares. Oh, probably a lot of stuff I'm missing out on. Let's see. We did obtain 2 manuscript pages, so
After my disappearance, they thought I was dead.